In this video, I want to talk about unlicensed sports card products, kind of where they've come from, where they are now, and why there's like this such a negative perception about them now when there wasn't previously. Let's get into this. First, elephant in the room, I'm sure a lot of people disagreed with that last statement I just said there, that people were more accepting of unlicensed product before, because maybe if you were thinking about the 1990s, if you're looking at Sage or whatever those different companies are, they weren't very well respected. But I'm looking a little bit farther back than that. You know, when I was buying a bunch of 1970s basketball cards for my PC, I realized, I guess I kind of knew this, but it didn't really strike until I started having more of them in hand. It was like, these are all unlicensed, almost all of them. And I made a video in the past about how a lot of the, it was a business related thing back in the day. The card production companies were able to get deals with the players associations, but not with the league themselves. So they could do the image and likeness and name of the players, but they couldn't do the logo or the team name. And you could see that on a lot of early 70s basketball, in fact, and football as well, the whole 70s, throughout the whole 70s. You look at the sports cards there and the football cards there, and they're all unlicensed. I mean, some of the iconic cards, Joe Montana's rookie card is an unlicensed card. People don't think about that because it's become iconic, but once you start looking at it, you're like, wait a second, there's no 49ers logo on this. And I've made a video about that before. In the 70s, it was really funny because there was two different companies. One had the connection with Players Association, one had the contract with the league. So you had one release that would just say like the team name or something about the team and have a general picture of the team, but couldn't say anything with the players. And then the other release that would have the players' picture, the players' names. And it's just because of business. For early football cards, for early basketball cards, they were almost all unlicensed. That continued up through, the beginning of the junk wax era, really. And then eventually, the different companies came in and they got the licenses, and then everything started to be licensed. And then the quality of the unlicensed stuff became very negative after that. I mean, I would say at least, maybe you might disagree with that, but through the 90s, you did have some unlicensed stuff. You had like I said before, the Sage or, I don't know, Wild Card or whatever it was. There was some different things. I can't even remember their names now. And just from a aesthetics point and from a quality point, they were not that good, I would say. I mean, there was some innovation in some of those spaces. I think there was more actual on-card autographs in some of those unlicensed spaces before it became a common practice in the licensed spaces, so that maybe there was some room for some innovation here and there. But generally, the perception of unlicensed cards became pretty negative. It fed this kind of feeling of unlicensed cards being a little bit more garbagey. And that feeling continued through, even till modern days, where there's I think it's changing a little bit, where because of the quality of some of the unlicensed product is really excellent. In particular, I really like some of the National Treasures baseball cards. They're unlicensed, but they just look cool. And sometimes you can get an old game-used piece of something from a Hall of Famer on a card that looks awesome, and then you can get it for cheap. So if you wanted to try to get that from a licensed product, it's extremely expensive. If you want to get an autograph card of a Hall of Fame baseball player, it's cheap. The cheapest way to go about it is probably to get it through, I don't know Leaf that well, but maybe Leaf or maybe National Treasures or Flawless or one of these things is probably one of the cheaper ways to get like game-worn stuff from real, authentic sources, which is cool, and it's a cheaper way to do it. So I've had a few like these Alkaline numbered out of 10 game-used bat cards that I got for like $8, and it's just like, that's cool. I like that. And it looks nice. It has a nice aesthetic. It looks quality. So I feel like in some ways the discontent with unlicensed products is too much nowadays. I think that there's some of it that is garbagey, but the history of sports cards has lots of unlicensed stuff, and the unlicensed stuff isn't fully unlicensed. It's, those Panini baseball stuff actually does have licenses with the players associations, just not with the leagues themselves. So if the league doesn't want to give out more than one license to one company, Panini can't do anything about it, but they can still get a Players Association license, and they can still make a quality product and have something that some people appreciate. I think that's all right. I think it's nice to have something else, than having just one company have all the control over the cards for that sport, which, generally that's the direction it comes with licensed cards, is there's one company, they have monopoly over that sport, so you take it or leave it. You like it or you don't like it. I think some of the unlicensed product actually creates some other option, a cheaper way of getting some stuff that can be really cool looking looking from players that you like. You know, if I'm a collector of some of these, you know, these Hall of Fame baseball players, my preference will still be to get a nice 1950s card of that player. I'd love to have an Ernie Banks card. I have a nice Hank Aaron card sitting over there. I prefer that. But if I can pretty inexpensively get something from a newer release that has an actual game-used bat from one of these guys, and it looks cool, I'm cool with that. I still like it. You know, maybe some of the stuff that doesn't have I don't really like the look of some of the Leaf stuff as much, so maybe less so with the Leaf. But even sometimes with that, I got a Nate Archibald auto card, numbered out at 8 or something like that. The card itself is like, it's a little bit like aesthetically not the greatest card, but it's like a $5 card for a Nate Archibald autograph. I'm like, cool. Just in general, if I can get an autograph of a player that I really like from that played basketball back in the 70s, you know, and it's pretty cheap to do it that way, fine. I got an autograph of this player. Cool. It's unlicensed, but it's his actual. I'd rather have, you know, an unlicensed thing that has his actual autograph than a licensed thing that has no connection with him at all. I'd prefer to get the unlicensed one, to be honest. So, you know, so I feel like the unappreciation for unlicensed product is a little bit too extreme, in my opinion. But again, this is just my opinion. You know, I understand why people would prefer to have licensed products as well. And if that's your thing, no problem. 95%, 98%, 99%, 99.9% of my collection is licensed product. 99% of what I buy is licensed product. But that doesn't mean I don't like some of the unlicensed products. Some of it's perfectly good, and I think it does create a space where people can be a little bit more creative and innovative and try some different things without having to be, you know, limited by, you know, where people can just try some different things and still have a nice product that can be more affordable. I think there's a space for it. I think there should be a space for it. So anyway, that's it for this video. If you have any other thoughts, I'm sure this is a bit of a controversial topic to some people, so share your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time. Peace.